Hey everybody, welcome to Techtical. On today's episode, we're going to be examining the Shitbox in great detail. To start, we're going to go over the motherboard and CPU upgrade, which will be coming up right after the intro, but we're also going to be looking at 5 games running on the Shitbox, and we're going to examine exactly how they run, do a performance review of each one of them, and talk a little bit about each game and why I think you should play it. In addition, we're going to go over the prices, what you can expect to pay for these games in today's market, where you can find the best deals. We're going to try to jam-pack a whole bunch of shit into this video, so stay tuned. Okay, so if you recall correctly, my last version of the Shitbox had a Q6600 running at stock on a stock cooler with a P5B motherboard from Asus and 8GB of DDR2 RAM spread across 4 sticks at 800 MHz. Those days are gone, my friends, because I've found an AM3 motherboard to go with the Phenom II quad-core 925 I already had, and the 8GB Value RAM DDR3 at 1333 MHz, and that motherboard is an Asus M4A78TD-M EVO, bunch of letters, micro ATX motherboard. Anyhow, it works, does the job. I picked it up for 30 bucks, and when you pair that with the processor, which I got for free, and the RAM, which I got for a total of $15, it actually brings the total down from 50 for the original package to 45 for this one, which is incredible. So this is no longer a $96 PC, it's actually a $91 PC. My goal was to keep it under 100 bucks, and we getting cheaper. But anyhow, on to the main reason we are here today, which can be summed up with one simple question. Can a $91 PC actually run games I want to play? Well, let's find out. Okay, so before we begin, a couple of notes. One, you may notice that this is being run once again through the TV and through the camera because OBS and things like that do screen captures will actually degrade performance to a degree, and I didn't want that to interfere with my recording, so I just took an external source. As you can see by the fraps counter, the performance in this game is A-OK. Mid-30s during death scenes and combat, but a solid 60 plus everywhere else. All the settings were turned down to low, which were remarkably good. Very high graphical fidelity in this game, very well optimized, no complaints there. No stuttering, no CPU bottlenecking, or significant frame time variance during testing. And generally pretty smooth, can't recommend that enough. I haven't played this game much, but in terms of how the game actually plays itself, I have to say this does horror, scary, jumpy bits down to a science. It's an absolutely fantastic execution on the thriller suspense genre, and if you like to be scared shitless while wandering through a foreign environment, this is probably the game for you. Price-wise, it has a historical low of $8.80 for the base game on Bundle Stars, $13.25 once again on Bundle Stars for the collection, which includes, I believe, all of the DLC, and it actually appeared in the Humble Monthly as well, which is precisely where I got it from. And next up we have a game called Hand of Fate, which probably stands as my second or third favorite roguelike next to Darkest Dungeon and probably one other that I can't remember. If I had to summarize what Hand of Fate was in a single run-on sentence, it would be that it's about a guy who traverses a land made up of cards that are randomly procedurally generated by a mystic who's leading you to who the fuck knows where to find who the fuck knows what, and along the way you get all sorts of stuff and fights and things every now and again. Anyway, it's a great game for someone who works a full-time schedule and only has 30 minutes to an hour at a time to sit down and game, because it is roguelike and it is sort of compartmentalized. You can go through a few dungeons and then put the game down and resume your life as normal. As for how this game performs, I think it's safe to say that it's pretty fucking beautiful. 60 frames per second, constant throughout outside of scene changes. 60 where it matters, that's the important thing. Doesn't go above 60 because it seems to be capped at 60 even with VSync off. Maybe that's editable in an INI file, I haven't bothered to check. But anyhow, the performance is flawless and beautiful even in the most intense of the combat scenes, as you can see here from this footage. As for how much you can expect to pay for this game, it has a historical low of $7.49 for the base game, and there is a DLC that is relatively new and available for about $5. Don't expect that to drop too soon. It has also appeared in 2 Humble Bundles in the past, so maybe you can expect it to reappear again, and I would highly suggest you investigate the viability of said bundles when they appear. Alright, next up we have a little game called Fight the Dragon. It's an ARPG, sort of Diablo-esque, but very simple graphics, lots of controller support, great for playing on a couch, and has local co-op as well, so you can play split screen, sort of shared split screen with 2 to 4 people, I believe. I played it mostly with my girlfriend, who is currently sitting on the couch eating pizza and yelling at me for taking too long to record this vocal. Anyhow, this game has been $3.39 in the Steam store before, and it has never appeared in a bundle, so that gives you an idea of what more or less you can expect to pay for it. Performance-wise, it was absolutely flawless, as you can see, well over 100 FPS in most scenes and never dipping below 60. Great bang for buck kind of game. Good to play with your kids too. It's very simplistic, no more than 4 buttons at a time. What really sets this game apart for me is the fact that all of the dungeons, all of the content in this game, with the exception of the first few stages, is user generated. Now you might think this results in a lack of content, but the community is surprisingly active in keeping this thing up to date. I downloaded it and installed it a year after I had played it, and there were 177 brand new dungeons for me to explore, and not counting all the dungeons I hadn't explored to date during my last playthrough. So definitely, bang for buck wise, fantastic game. And next up, we have a game that I actually haven't played, I'll be honest, NBA 2K16. It's been 20 years since I played a basketball game on any sort of system. The last one I played was NBA Live 97 back when I was a teenager. So I figured I'd give this one a shot just for performance purposes alone. I figured this would be a good test as to whether or not this kind of system can handle something truly modern. This is just a year old, not even. The NBA season just ended. This is still current because I don't think NBA 2K17 is out yet. And as you can see, on low settings, the game is very smooth with frame rates in the 60s to 70s at all times. It doesn't seem to deviate very much. This has a historical low of $12.42, and it has been bundled once in the humble 2K bundle. It gives you an idea of what you're going to have to pay for it. Again, I can't really recommend it, but performance-wise, if you're into basketball games, especially by 2K, you're good to go. And next up, we have a game called Sins of the... Okay, well, it doesn't really matter what the game is called because this game in particular is not the one I'm recommending, nor am I reviewing it. I threw it in here just to prove a point. A system that costs you $91 can be used to play modern games. It can even be used to play mid-range games that are indie and not necessarily the most graphically demanding, but can also be used to play the thousands upon thousands of little indie gems that you'll find all throughout Steam for a dime a dozen. Budget and patient gaming is not just for people looking to save money on big AAA titles that have aged a little bit and become more affordable. It is also for people who are satisfied and content with playing games with that retro vibe and foregoing a lot of the flashier things that we've come to enjoy with 3D gaming. I'm sorry about the 5th game. I literally just had to cut it because I'm out of time. I needed to edit and needed to get this uploaded. But I did make a legit valid point. The nice thing about $91 PCs is that they do everything a PC does in addition to playing high-end games, which is nice. It gives you lots of options and freedom and flexibility, which is exactly what being a member of the PC Master Race is all about. Anyway, moving on, the reason you're here today is my giveaway, my 2,000 subscriber giveaway. First of all, genuine, sincere thank you to all 2,000 of you who have subscribed and put your faith in me as a hardware-ish guy, thingy dude, review person. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And to show you that I appreciate it, I'm going to give you a bunch of Steam keys. That's what we're all here to do. Here's how it's going to work. You're going to leave me a comment. I don't care what it is. You can insult me. You can compliment me. You can come on to me. You can hit on my girlfriend. I don't care what you do. Just do it. And then I will record your username. And I will select 20 of you at random and send you a Steam key of something that's not total ass. I promise it won't be garbage. It might not be like the most expensive game in all the Steam universe, but I guarantee you it will be something that will be worth your time if you happen to have a spare bit of it to spend on the game. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one at OFA on Twitter. I will be streaming more. I promise. Twitch, Tech Tickle, and see you in the next one.